Good afternoon and welcome to KERNOW EXP. Hello folks, so where are we today? So we're at POLDICE today and we're heading towards the old arsenic refinery. We're going to go for a walk around this valley and we're going to go and fly the drone. So hope you're going to enjoy this one. This is a bit of a history walk, I guess. So let's introduce ourselves, shall we? How you doing? Hope you're doing good. So thank you to all the new subscribers and thanks for keeping with us, and we've got some great stuff to have a look at today. Shall we go? Shall we? Yeah, let's go folks. Right, so we are heading down towards the chimney at this Cornish mining location. Well, this is the processing side of it, folks. So this mine was used by Panandrea mine, which is further up the valley. Now they had a overhead ropeway system which conveyed the material from that mine down to here. So there's one bucket coming down, one bucket going up, and there was probably a decent amount of gap in between. And of course a lot of material would have been delivered here at POLDICE. Now I do believe that local other mines that were in the area would have actually utilised this mine for processing and production of copper and tin and arsenic. Arsenic was a byproduct, folks, and basically they had a thing called a labyrinth, which is a series of tunnels which zigzag, and basically the idea of it was so the arsenic that was in the smoke would be trapped on the walls or gathered on the walls, and then they would have had operatives, young lads or chaps that would have went in there with just a cloth, a damp cloth over their face to basically stop them from inhaling the poisonous arsenic. So there is a labyrinth down here. We will have a brief look at it. Got to pull my drink out of my pocket because it's pulling my trousers down. Not a good idea. Right, so this is the chimney here, and this would have been very toxic back in the day, folks. Clouds of smoke which was laden with arsenic. So the arsenic flue was a very crude idea of gathering the arsenic. Obviously these days they would use other means to gather all of it, I should imagine. So we're going to try and do this one shoot if we can. I don't know if I can, but we're going to try. So here we are. This is the base of the arsenic flue chimney here at POLDICE, which is not far from St Day and not a million miles from Chasewater, and even still not a million miles from Truro. So this hasn't really changed much. I used to come here as a kid. I've got very deep connections to this valley. My family used to live basically just over to the left of the screen right now for a very long time indeed, during World War II, by the way. So I'm just going to adjust myself a minute, so please bear with me. Trousers have come loose again, folks. Must be losing weight or something, which is good, I guess, because I was a bit overweight. So, right, let's do the belt up. Okay, back in the room. Right, so we can just see here, look, this is where the flue was, and you can see it would have went into the chimney there and straight up. So this chimney was actually repaired back in the late 90s, I believe, because it wasn't as high as that. There's a lot of bricks fell off over the years, but they put it back to its original height, folks, which I think is rather good. So the flue would have went off to the left here, and you can still see part of it over there, which we'll endeavour to get over to. Just bear with me a minute, folks. Right, so part of the flue or the tunnel is still here. This is pretty much a best surviving part, really. So you've got granite coins on top, look, and beneath that is the flue, which would have went in that direction towards what we're looking at. So yeah, quite interesting. Right, so we will head down now to the arsenic refinery, and I think the first bit we look at will be the labyrinth, which is where the arsenic was gathered by the mining operatives. So let's go and have a look at that. So this area here, folks, it hasn't really changed since I was a kid. So for the last 35 years, this has pretty much stayed the same, pretty much. Right. So now we'll go into the original entrance where the labyrinth is. So the labyrinth is just there to the left of us. And I don't think we can actually get right into the labyrinth, folks, but I'm just going to show you a brief little bit that, oh hello doggy, a brief little bit that does exist underground, which is just here. So we'll have a little look. I don't know if we can get into it. I don't know whose dog that is, but he's a dear little fella. Right, let's have a little look. Here we go. So we're not going to get in there, folks, but that is another part of the labyrinth which they extended, and you can see it would have zigzagged here, and you can see just there as well where it would have zigzagged. Quite interesting. And then it would have went up into the chimney. So this was probably put on later, this bit of labyrinth just here. Now the main bit of labyrinth where they collected the arsenic is just here, as you can see, look. So basically what this is, I'll just do it in layman's terms, is there was a zigzag, so it's zag, 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 zag. So the smoke would have accumulated inside of this labyrinth here, and therefore that's where the arsenic was gathered. So what we'll do now is we'll go down there and have a better look. Hello doggo. A little bit of a better look without falling down. We don't want to do that, do we? Not really. Right, okay. So it's a little bit precarious here. I've got my good trainers on, so I don't want to get them covered in too much cack, because I use them for work. Right, okay, so this is one of the original ways into the arsenic refinery. So there would have been a gate there at some stage in the past, but obviously not there now. So I've got a very early memory of being quite young and coming here with my Uncle Jim, and it looked alien back then, folks. I had no idea what it was, but obviously my uncle did. So yeah, very early memory. So this has not really changed since I was a kid, this area here. Mind you, it is grade, I think it's grade 2 listed now, so you can't do anything with it. It's got to stay as it is, because it's a monument to our Cornish forefathers, which I do have mining in my family, so it is my forefathers. Right, so this is another part, or the beginning of the labyrinth here. So you can imagine just here, look, that's where the guy would have gained access, and he would have went in there and dug out all the arsenic. Very awful job. Now, this here we've got here is a more modern part of the mine. This is where they put in brand new equipment back in the I think it was the late 1920s. My granddad, he used to come down here. He said to me that he remembered the galvanised shed that was here, actually being here in situ, folks. Wow, what a thing, eh? To see that. So you can see there would have been massive pieces of equipment here. Now we have done a ghost hunt here before with David, and I think we're coming back around this area tonight to do another ghost hunt. Now, what we're heading to now is quite substantial and quite poignant. These are the stamps, folks. These are Californian stamps, and they would have crushed the rock. Now, obviously to the left here, you can see that this would have been a big shed, and you can see that that's the girder to the shed, which has been gas axed off all the way down through. Now, this would have been quite a substantial building, and apparently I've been told that it was a big shed, and it was galvanised, cladded, and it would have housed quite a lot of machinery for the processing of the ore. As you can see here, look, we've got foundations just here, which was for equipment, possibly shaking tables, folks, I should imagine. And here we've got the Californian stamps, which, you know, I think the actual stamp heads are still in there, but without actually gaining access, we're not going to know. Now, I got a little story, but it's not a story, it's a fact. My gran used to live down here with my granddad and my great-grandparents, and there's no water down here, folks. There was no water down here for years and years and years. And what my gran did is she used to collect water from these stamps here, basically for washing and drinking, you know, which today is unheard of, isn't it, really? You know. But yeah, this is the Californian stamps, which is absolutely amazing. Now, these foundations just here really have escaped my attention quite a bit, to be fair, because I've not really looked at them at any detail. But you can imagine the shed that was here. I've seen pictures, folks, and it was humongous, humongous. So they tried breaking it up there, but obviously they decided it was just too much, so they stopped. So you can see down below us there the foundation to the massive shed, which possibly would have housed buddles and processing material. I'll have to do some more research on exactly what was inside these sheds, and I'm pretty convinced the other one would have had shaking tables, folks. These foundations just here do look of that kind of looking. Right, so let's go back in time and go back to the earlier buildings on this site, which focused around a calciner, I believe. And we'll head to the calciner right now. Now, it's quite warm this evening, folks. It's 20 to 5, and it is quite warm. I'm actually surprised. I've only got a t-shirt on. Mind you, they say don't cast a cloak till May's out. Still got me long johns on, folks. That's what I was hinting at the other day, to be fair. Yeah, KERNOW still wears his long johns. What a saddo. But it would be a bit chilly without them, to be fair. But anyway, it's beginning to get summer now, proper summer like. So there we've got a very early style retaining wall just here, and I think that's the beginning of the shed that they did back here. So let's go to where the old calciner is. Let's go and have a little look at that. So yeah, I've got a lot of fond memories around this area because of my family connections. Like my granddad said, he can remember this actually working, folks, which is just amazing, really, isn't it, when you think about it. Right, so we've got some lovely steps there, which they restored a few years ago. So I think we're going to have to go around the other way to get to the calciner, because you used to be able to go through there, but they've barred the way, I believe. Am I right? Yeah, it's locked. Okay, so there's another little bit there. Not really sure how deep that goes, but it does go in a bit of a way. And then we've got the other little tunnel entrance here, which somebody's put some stones up there, which is a bit unusual. Youngsters or whatever. So here we go. So what we've got right here is a calciner, folks, that is. And there is one right here as well. This one here is a calciner. Now, we've got a stone on the wall here which has got some writing on it, and it says C. Pengelly Esquire. There is other writing there. Is it Varrock? 25th of the... I can't really distinguish it, but it's got... is that a V, is it, or a Y? I'm not sure. Ah, okay, right, I've just distinguished it, folks. It says March the 25th, 1897. So this is when this stone was put here. So they would have had a special do to celebrate that. So it's quite a long time ago. So here we've got more processing side of things, and this bit of rubble here, I don't know if that is rubble from that falling down or if it's ore bearing material. I just don't know at the moment. They did do some stabilisation work here a few years ago, because these here, which we're coming up to now, were completely robbed out, and they've put new timbers in and they've pointed it all out, which is really good, folks. And then we've got this one here which they've stabilised and put right, basically. As you can see, just above it on this wall here, look, the ghost of the gable end on this shed. So would have been a series of roofs here. You can just make it out there, very clear indeed. So that's very interesting. Nice bit of history there, folks. So we've got some other buildings here. I think they're for offices of the mine. So C. Pengelly might have been over there. So his name might have been Charles. The name Charles or Charlie does go back quite a way in my own family, because my granddad was called Charles or Charlie, and I was told that his granddad was called Charles as well, and back in time from that as well. So because I loved my granddad so much and he was such an inspiration to me, I've named my son the same name. So my son's official name is Charles something Palmer. And he's a good lad, he really is. So we've got a nice window there, look, which has been stabilised. So this was an office, I believe. It does look like that, because we've come across buildings like this before, and they do very much look like what I said. So we've got the original concrete floor right there, look. So if you scraped it all up, it probably would be all intact. But if we don't dig down, we're never going to know, and I don't think we're going to dig down today. Right, so we've got another retaining wall there, look, which is quite clearly not a dwelling. Retaining wall. It looks, to me, that looks pretty much original. Pretty much. And we've got this other building here, which is, I don't think I've ever looked at this before, this one. I really don't, because I don't know why, but I just never have. So I don't know if that is original material dumped there, or that's been just put there by local people. So what have we got here then? We've got possible shed construction, but I don't know. It's debatable. It really is. So now there's the valley going down, and as we can see, there's some more fencing gone up down there. It's quite interesting. Right, we're getting close to where we get the drone up, I think. We just have to go and find a nice little spot to get that up and go off and do that. So I think we'll backtrack for a moment. Now, I don't ever recall coming to this bit, really. So obviously That wall does look original to me. What I mean is it's not been mucked about with. It's just been left, isn't it? Yeah, it very much does look like a proper little wall. But now, one thing I'll tell you about this area, folks, during World War II, the American GIs were based down here, and my gran and granddad would remember that. Obviously, they're not with us anymore now. They're in heaven, folks. God bless them. Hope they rest wherever they are. But my gran said to me that the Americans used to whistle at her when she used to walk by. So interesting. And apparently, when they pulled out, there's a lot of equipment they left behind, and rather than take it with them, they just threw it down the shaft down here. There is some shafts around here. So there's a local legend where there's like lots of American equipment, including motorcycles, Willis Jeeps, and all sorts. So there is an element of truth in that, folks, because our friend Benacam has come across some things on the North Cornish coast. Anyway, look, can you see that there? That's crinkly tin, folks. So we would have been inside here, and that would have been outside. You can see that very clearly, can't you? Right, so we're going to go and head towards the stamps, I believe, and get that drone up. I hope you enjoyed this one so far. There'll probably be a 5 to 10 minute drone flight after this. But before we talk about flying the drone, we've got one more thing to look at, which is very interesting. So you see this brick construction we're heading to, that would have had a big wheel on there, and that would be connected to the wire rope system, which conveyed the material from Parkenshire mine, I think it's called. And you can just see, so it would have had a clip on it, and as the bucket went around, it clicked it and tipped the material. Very close to the stamps, by the way, isn't it? As we can see. So I think what we'll do is get up there a moment, and I'll try and explain it a bit clearer if I can. Right, we're nearly up. Yeah. Okay, that was a bit awkward. Right, okay, we're up. Right, so the buckets would have came in from over there, and they would have went around here, and there would have been a trip mechanism. You can just see it there, look. And the material was tipped. Now, I don't know exactly where the material was tipped. It's possible it was just tipped down here and then graded and then put into the crusher or the stamps, because that's what a stamps is basically, folks. It's a crusher. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this one, and don't forget, if you are new, please subscribe. It really helps. And if you want to help the channel, there is a donation thing there somewhere. Could be PayPal or buy me a coffee. Not asking for that, but if you happen to want to do that, feel free. Anyway, here's the drone footage. Enjoy, folks. See you in a bit. Well, there you go, folks. Nice bit of drone flying. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to smash the like button. Share is care. Anyway, thanks to all the new subscribers, and keep your eye out from us, folks, because we've got some great stuff coming. Anyway, from me down at POLDICE, I bid you farewell. See you soon.